What an announcement. From screens to smiles, redefining customer experience in the digital era. You know, I've been in the software industry for a good 30 years, and I've heard those words before. So being the devil advocate, what's new?
I think, so the awareness of the importance of design, of thinking about the experience the user will have is what is maybe new. And this is compounded by the fact that the greater majority of business to people interactions are currently already happening online. So you have to think about, as a company, as a business, how to provide that always-on availability, that kind of flexibility, which is also linked to doing things in a scalable and efficient way, which is also something we could talk how to grow efficiently.
Yeah.
But at the same time, while those experiences happen online, the great majority of those experiences also do not meet the expectations of the user.
Great. Well, I can see that myself, being a user myself. What is the big problem at the end here? I mean, is there research available, statistics available about what is actually going wrong?
I think that the tension can only be solved by better design. Design is how people interact with technologies, is how you make that interaction better possible. And a design that is obviously customer-centric, very user-focused, and as human as possible, as human-like as possible, right? Which is one of the great topics of this South Summit.
Exactly, exactly. So, I mean, take me back a little bit about, you mean you've been in the form space. I mean, I think everybody in the room knows Typeform one way or the other as a user or as a customer, but how have you experienced this change over the last year yourself?
I think that when I said about awareness, Typeform was founded by David and Robert at the back end of 2012. The product became a commercial product in 2013. And let's say 9 years ago, we were unique because that thought of the respondent experience, how you create an experience for the people who dedicate their time and the people who provide the valuable information that our customers need and want to get because they are asking for this information.
Yeah.
That was unique. And the other thing that was unique also is how we would make it very easy for our creators, our customers, to use the tool in what was called back then the consumerization of B2B. So it's a professional tool, but you don't need to go to a place and study the use of this tool for 3 months. It's something you can learn as you go, right?
Yeah.
So that was very early on. And I think that Typeform is an example of the value of this. We have grown incredibly over these last few years. And so these, together with maybe other even greater benchmarks like Apple, right? That creates that awareness. Design is important. Design it in a way that it's easy, that people will immediately understand how to use it, will get to the value as soon as, let's say, in no time, so to say, right? So that's who we were, and that's who we are still today. The difference, I would say, is we always do that with the technologies that are available.
Yeah.
Right? So, for instance, when I think about respondent experience, you want to make that relevant and personalized. One of the ways of doing that is if you are a company that sells pet products, maybe you ask your respondent, are you a pet owner? Do you own a cat or a dog? And if the answer is I own a dog, everything else after that has to be about dogs,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
That makes it relevant. That makes it personalized. We used hidden fields. We used logic jams to make those things. But now, for instance, technology, LLMs, as one of these areas of AI, is making that type of conversational data obtention, data collection, even greater, right? So we have to always use what's available at its time with the same vision, the same focus. Which is,
exactly. I mean, everybody in the room knows about the emergence, of course, of AI. Has this tendency of the expectations that people have around, the experience they get online, has that changed also? For example, while COVID was happening, when the world moved remote.
Yes, exactly. So we've seen this, right? So we have, all of us, we have moved more online, right? There was an acceleration of the adoption of technologies and products and services online. We don't need to travel so much to meet every time with our customer in person. We are in the business of helping our customers know and understand their customer better. That's why our customers ask questions, right? Because if you don't speak to your customer, how can you know your customer, right? And that's essential to build a successful business, right? So you want to solve a problem worth solving for those customers. So you really need to know them, right? So a lot of people were traveling. A lot of people were calling people on the phone. This is fine, but it is more efficient when you do that asynchronously, when you do that online, right? Because it's simply flexible, right? Your customer or your customer-to-be can answer whenever they have the time, right?
Yeah.
So with the acceleration that has happened through COVID, because we couldn't do some of those things, so we had to find the new way.
Yeah.
This is here to stay, and it's only growing. And I think that as the experience of having those online asynchronous conversations improve with new technologies, this is only going to keep growing.
But what was wrong in the past that people don't want anymore, and that needs to change right now, that's now possible with the technology available?
I think we always go back to principles and who we are as people. We as people, we want to feel unique and valued. We want to make good use, or the use that we want, of our time.
Yeah.
So sometimes traveling to go and meet somebody is not the best use of your time. You have a lot of waiting times in airports or in places. And maybe for that customer is also not, it's a very rigid way, right? It has to be then and in that place. So all of those things are, I would say, part of the human nature. So save me time, treat me better as a human, value me for what I am adding to you, for my uniqueness, right? All of that is there. If I think of marketing, we work with marketeers a lot because they don't have the attention of their audience guaranteed, right? So they need to come up with ideas to attract that attention. And that's where Typeform really excels, right? But what they would say today is, we still want the same thing. We want to meet the customer where we need to meet them, send the right message to the right person at the right time, through the right device or the right channel, right? And do that as personalized as possible. The idea is there. It hasn't changed. What changes is the technologies that allow for this.
Well, I mean, we had a conversation before this. You were talking about the tendency of the previous era, so to say. We did, of course, a lot of research, and we were interacting with our customers. We were just asking different type of questions, more structured, more number-based, more analysis-oriented.
Yeah, that's true, because like we started already with the idea of conversational forms, right?
Yeah.
And you think about how humans interact. I mean, we're having a conversation. We could say, "Hi, Ton, how are you?" Right? This is how we interact. The problem is that when you make that online very, very conversational, you get out of every person maybe 1, 2, or 3 paragraphs of information, right? And that's very difficult to process. to analyze, to report, right? So the solution for the industry was, how are you today 1 to 10?
Yeah.
Right? Give me a number, because that I can process. And I can say, this week we are at 5.75, and last week we were at 4.83, so we are better this week, right? So the problem is that you lose a lot of information, and that experience is not a great experience, right?
Exactly.
So the world will continue evolving towards these conversational, online, asynchronous interactions, where we can actually ask, hi, Ton, how are you today? And then you will take it the way you want. And we can ask 1,000, 10,000 people, get all that text, and then analyze that text. Now, AI already did that. Sentiment analysis, topic descriptions, all of that existed. It's just more available, faster, cheaper with the new technologies, right? The other thing that I believe is going to happen, we are experiencing with video and voice, right? Video already includes voice. We transcribe that voice to text, and we can analyze that text, right? Voice is the next big thing, right? Video is an existing technology. It is very much used today for, let's say, asynchronous online interviews, to do pre-filtering of candidates, and etc. But, and there is nothing more personal than somebody, like, imagine that you are the chief customer officer of a company, and you sent a video yourself asking your customers, hey, I'm this person of this company, you're a valued customer of us, we really value your opinion. Can you tell us about this, right? This feeling of the customer changes, because it's like, okay, that person is really interested in what I'm going to say, right? Instead of, how was my service, 1 to 10, right? So video is already there. The next thing is voice. And I believe it's voice, because voice is the maybe best way for humans to interact. I mean, what do we do the whole day? We use our voice, right? So that's going to be the next thing.
It's fascinating. So how do you envision the future then? Like, what will the world look like 5 years from now? Or maybe 3 years from now, because it's going so crazy fast.
We believe we believe that to be a successful business, you have to solve a problem worth solving. To do that, you need to really, really know your customer. To know your customer, you can not only observe what the customer is doing. I mean, we have a lot of tracking links, a lot of information in our company. We can see the funnels and how the funnels change from the top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, and the bottom of the funnel. You have all of that data, and the next question that I, as a CEO, sometimes I don't get a full answer is, why? Why there's this drop? What happened here, right? So what you need to do then is actually ask the person. So what I can see is a future where we go from a fragmented set of data to a unified set of data. Data that is updated, that is of quality, and then that allows everybody in the company to also act in unison, right? So instead of marketing doing something and sales doing something and customer care doing something, unifying go-to-market teams, right? And helping them collaborate. Data is a great unifier, and then we can see, okay, this group, this segment, you take charge, you are the responsible, that group, that segment, I'll do that, right? With the customer at the center, always, right? And from that customer perspective, in the end, a lot of services become increasingly commoditized after some time. So what's going to be the key differentiator? Well, the trust, the loyalty, the fact that I feel that I am listened, I'm heard, and what I say, it's going to have an impact. Part of the reason why people don't answer surveys 1 to 10 is because once you've done 3, 4, 5 of them, after each flight there is 1, right? How was your flight, 1 to 10, right?
Yeah.
Has something ever changed for me?
Nothing.
So why should I then dedicate my time to that?
Exactly. Because people, when you answer a 6 or a 7, they don't know what to do with that. It's at the end, what's behind this, right?
The experience is not great. It's always the same boring experience. And then it has no effect in my life.
Yeah.
It's not going to improve anything for me. So I think that's where we are going.
How is that going to change the type form as we know it now?
We think about our customers, and we want to make our customers the hero of our story.
Yeah.
We have historically given them superpowers. Every hero needs superpowers. The superpowers we usually talked about was the designer superpower. So without design skills, you can create amazing looking experiences for your respondents. And the superpower of the coder. You don't need to code. You don't need to be an engineer to embed it in your web page, to integrate it with your backend tools, CRM, email marketing, or marketing automation tool. The next superpower we want to provide is the superpower of the data scientist or the data analyst, right? So for us, it's just a continuous process of giving our valued customers superpowers.
Nice. So would you advise us in the room here today? What should we start doing ourselves different tomorrow?
So a little bit as a summary of what we said, I mean, if you as entrepreneurs or people in this world, if you don't have clarity of who your customer is, if you don't know the customer well enough, you should know. If you are not thinking about the experiences and the different moments where your service, your product, or any area like a web page or a landing page is getting in touch with your customer, what I like to call it moments of truth. There's inspiration from other people who came up with this concept. All these moments of truth are critical because that's when your company stands out and shows up in front of these people that you want to serve. So if you don't design those moments, if you don't think about the experience from that user or customer perspective of those moments, then you should also do that. And basically, we are in software. For us, it's absolutely critical to continue innovating and being close with. We are going in that direction, just that we can use now every year, every number of years, there's new technologies that are more perfect, more reliable to get there in a better way.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ton.
Thank you for sharing the future.
And thank you, everyone.